Hello everyone, this is Jim Okrasinski with the special edition screencast video about using Google Drive in the peer review and essay process. So if you look in the module, unit number 1, the literacy narrative module, I have moved the Google Drive instructions from the orientation unit to the unit here. You can review the instructions that we covered the very first week of the course, even going back to the original video tutorial about Google Drive and how we work through the syllabus and Google Drive activity. Okay. Course folder will take you directly to the course folder, right? So if you get to the course folder here, um, and I'm using COM 101.014 as my example again. Remember, this applies to 048 and 309. So what we have is that we have the SA1 Literacy Narrative folder, and I've created an example folder here. Here's my folder, always with your last name, SA1. And inside here, I have the 3 required documents, your first draft, your peer report, and the final draft. Now, obviously, I didn't write these, but this just gives you an idea of what should be in your particular folder. First draft, okay, your peer review report, and also the final draft that is proofed and edited, right? You want to make sure you upload the GDoc link. And just to remind everybody, the link, I should say, when you open up a document, let's open up the peer report here. I've kind of worked a little bit in this to give you an idea. Here's my peer report. And when I say a GDoc link, it is the URL. Every GDoc has got a separate URL. So this is the one you're going to copy. And then you're going to upload that along with your first draft. Whenever I'm looking for a link for a document, that is what I'm talking about. So here what we have in the folder, let me go back to the literacy narrative folder. You have a couple of ways to work with the report. So let's say you've written your draft, right? And we have the peer review report. So I say make a copy. Click here. You want to make a copy. Take it, make a copy of the peer review report. I'd say share it with the same people. Click OK. So now all of a sudden I have what's called copy of make a copy is what it is, right? Copy of make a copy. So I would then, let's see, take all of this out. Let me type in Okrasinski, right? Okrasinski. Let me do this as just this one, just because I wanted to note something different from what I have there in the peer review. No, in the peer review report. So I renamed this the copy, right? I made a copy and I renamed it. I can close make a copy and I can look at here peer review report and I can work in a peer review report. So that's my copy, right? So just to give you an idea then, what would happen here is that copy, I'm going to put that into my folder here. All right, we're going to do that. That way I save this copy for everybody else in the class. Now I go into my folder, and of course here's the one that I just made for you to see the peer review report. Now I have one that I've done some work in, right? So here I've written my name. I'm going to write my answer to number 1 here, where I say start with a conversation, share your drafting journey. And I say I had a great time writing this narrative. Of course, I always have a great time writing narratives. And now I want to give a targeted list of 3 things for my peer reviewers, right? Did I answer the 5 W's in the intro is one. You can change the fonts around here. That's great. When you begin to get into the idea of writing a peer review on somebody else's draft, you would certainly put your name over here, right? Peer reviewer number 1, put your name in, type the responses to 1 and 2 above here, what the writer said, engage in that conversation, and then answer the 3 questions I have here. I have 3 prompts. Peer reviewer number 2 would do the same, right? Put your name in and continue on. Now the goal there is to look in everybody's, let's get to the literacy narrative. I have peer review groups here in a Google Sheets. Here are the 3 groups that I have for this section. Some section, depending upon size, has 4 groups. Whatever it is, you would find your name and you would write a peer review for two, as it says in the assignment, for two of your fellow students who are in your group. So let's say Savannah Johnson, you're going to write two peer reviews, and you can choose whoever's uploaded a draft. It could be Daniel, it could be Justin, it could be Alyssa, but you're only doing two peer reviews. The idea behind peer review then is to make sure that you write those peer reviews right in the report, so you can read what the writer says here about their draft, open up their draft, read their draft, and then take your time, right, and write a really good peer review. You're going to want to review the section in the textbook about writing peer reviews. I'll go through a little bit of that in the lecture video, but then you would have all of this sitting in your folder, correct? So let's get back to my folder one more time, and I would have my first draft, my peer report completed, and then that way when I want to see what everybody's written about my first draft, I would open up my peer review report. I would read whoever wrote a peer review on my draft, and I could look at their feedback and their advice. I would implement that into my final draft for assessment. All right. So then what happens is that we will grab these links and upload the links to the assignment, right? So let's go here. You can use the form in the Drive account, or you can copy and paste right from here in this page into a blank GDoc. You can do that, as I say here. So I'm actually looking for the two GDoc links by copying and pasting the links into the text box, right? I'm looking one link for your draft, one link for the peer review report, and one thing I want to just go back to, this up here is your GDoc link. Just copy and paste. That's all you got to do. Copy and paste, put a couple of links in there, click submit, you're done with your assignment. Then it'll move along to the peer reviews. You will do the two peer reviews right into the reports of those particular people in your group, right? You'll write the peer review, turn around and grab the two links of the peer review reports of the students that you wrote reviews on, and then you will upload those two links here, right, into the assignment. So I have the links. I can read the reviews. I'm pretty good at tracking all the reports and the reviews. So this is the peer review process, and then you would have your final draft revised, edited for assessment. So I will talk a little bit more about my peer review philosophy, and then also the final draft, what I'm looking for in the final draft in this week's lecture video, which will come up a little bit later in the week. All right. So I hope this clears up any confusion about the peer review report, the process in Drive, and how it really connects into Canvas. All right. So if you have any questions, send me an email. Good luck.